You're listening to the Building Wealth in Your 20s podcast, the show which puts you in the driver's seat of your financial future. Young people taking their money seriously. And now, here's the latest from Building Wealth in Your 20s.
What you trying to sell me, big boy?
I'm trying to sell you mutual funds that are fantastic for one of us.
Okay, but not me.
No, not you. I don't care about you. I'm
Chucky.
I'm the salesperson.
You're so sleazy.
It's all about the money. I'm
Okay.
trying to make the money. All
So
right.
give me your best pitch.
Exactly. So last time we talked about 5 ways to sell you garbage. And today I'm going to give you 5 more ways I can sell you garbage without lying to you. Everything I'm saying is the truth, really.
Yeah.
So here's the number 6. This fund did really well in the past.
Well, obviously, that could be 100 years ago, right?
It could be. Or it did really well in the last 10 years. Like, let's say high tech did really well, like in the 90s. So 2001, I'm like, hey, I got this high tech fund. It's all high tech. It's nothing.noincome.com, but it's done well. Okay, that's great. You have all one sector, did well in the past, may not do well in the future. Hard to say, really. But it's kind of like picking one stock or one sector. Or maybe you got lucky. You got an IPO. You bought the Facebook. You bought the Amazon, and it's
Snapchat.
That would go against the story, actually. But
Chucky loves the Snapchat.
no, I use Snapchat all the time.
You should be on Chuck's Snapchat because
I
the
should.
pictures are a little
It's something special.
amazing.
It's for the memories. Actually, it's not for the memories. The point is, I may have just gotten lucky once or twice, and then my record goes really well. But you missed the boat. The boat is gone. The boat is not here for you to step on. And if you try to step off that pier, the boat is. I think this metaphor is run.
We're going to run underwater.
It's
what you're trying to
underwater. We're
say.
underwater. Exactly.
Good thing I'm here to help.
That's right. That metaphor sank. All right.
Deep.
Moving on. This is about the trained monkeys and the magic dartboard.
Excuse me?
No, it's not a new child's story that I'm publishing on Amazon.
Is this another one of those kinky sex things?
It is not. I would imagine it might be. I don't know, but I am not.
I think it's a fetish.
It could be. Trained monkeys and the magic dartboard. Okay, so here's the thing. And I'm in character here. My team of trained monkeys, they are really good at picking stocks. What they do is they take a dart and they throw it at a board, and we get the newspaper up there, and they're pretty good. Now, on average, maybe half of them are beating the market average. They're beating the experts just by chance, really.
Random.
Yeah. Now, over the long term, they're not going to do well. But in a given year, trained monkey or some kid right out of his MBA.
Anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Right. They had a good day. So let's say in a brand new year, we have half of my team beat the market. Now, fortunately, my team is made of 1,000 different groups. I have 1,000 mutual funds out there. And the first year, 500 of them beat the market. And I'm like, look at this. I have 500 funds that beat the market, and I closed down the other 500. Now I have 100% of my 500 funds that beat the market for 1 year in a row. A whole year.
Woo.
Right, that's not impressive. So the second year, same monkeys, same dartboards, and again, half of them beat the market. So then we got 250 that have beat the market 2 years in a row, and that sounds really good. Okay,
Ooh.
Exactly. So we do this until we go from down to 128, 64, 32, 16, and today I've got one monkey. Okay, now this guy has beat the market 10 years in a row. Mm-hmm. This monkey knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He's not your AI participant.
Sounds like monkey business to me.
It could be, but I'm not lying to you. Anyway, I was going to go with a lemur your ear. Is that too bad? All right. Sorry.
Not good.
Okay. So, anyway, but I can honestly say, hey, this trained monkey has beat the market 10 years in a row. He is clearly a genius.
I think he's just a monkey. He's lucky.
Yeah, that's it. It's just the law of averages.
He's just rolling the dice.
Yeah. If you flip a coin 10 times in a row, 1,000 times in a row, you're going to hit heads 10 times in a row eventually. So, here's what I'd like to see from a mutual fund company is how many of your funds are 10 years old. If they're 3 years old, I don't even care. That's luck or something. More importantly, what funds were you selling 10 years ago? How many of them are still around? How are they doing? On average, are they beating the averages? If they're not, you're not very good at what you do.
They're cherry picking.
They're cherry picking. That's right. They're filtering the past. It's kind of like saying my successes and averages, or my successes and failures are mostly good if I delete the failures, you know?
I never thought of doing that, but that would help a lot.
It would,
average.
Right? There's there's a
that kind of work.
medical testing company that did that. They're like, well, we didn't get the numbers we wanted on this test, so something probably went wrong. We'll just throw it out. They were very successful on paper. I know, right? Anyway, it was an interesting story. So anyway, that is the trained monkeys.
Do they have bells and whistles?
That costs extra, so
Okay.
we're going to add some loads. I'm sorry. So here's the other thing, time-targeted funds.
I've heard this word before.
Yes, now these are actually pretty big, and we'll do a whole show on this, I think, because it's not always bad, but generally bad. So the general idea is when I'm investing, when I'm young and I've got time to let the market go up and down, I'm going to be 100% in stocks because I can ride the dragon until it comes around and everything's good. And then when I'm turning 50, when I'm turning 60, 70, I'm moving more and more toward bonds or something really boring, just cash even. Bonds are hardly worth the effort anymore. But if you're making 10% on your stocks and 4%, 3% on your bonds, you're probably okay. If you're 70 and you have 40% in bonds or stocks.
But we're not 70 here. We're
not.
20.
We're young, right? But anyway, the point is that the idea is that this fund, you put all your money in there and they will slowly move it to a safer portfolio allocation. So
What?
yeah, so let's say it's target. It says mutual fund target 2050. They say you're going to retire in the year 2050. So we've got 35 years. They're going to be pretty aggressive right now. In the year 2040, they're going to start moving a whole bunch of stuff into something much safer,
Right.
which is a pretty good idea.
Is this so in case you forget about it, you're okay? Is
No,
that the idea?
No, it is not. But let's think about this. Let's say I want to retire in 3 years right now. We've had the market go up for 8 years in a row. Things have gone really well. Doesn't mean it's going to crash, but we're probably more likely for a crash now than we would be 5 years ago. So I might take half my money off the table and say, I'm going to put half of it into bonds or just in cash and say, if the market has a bad year or 3, I could just live off the cash, wait for that money to recover, and I'll be fine. So you get a little piggy bank. But if I still have a job and I'm making good money and I'm saving more money, well, let's ride the roller coaster and just put it all in the stocks.
Have you ever had a job?
I have had a job. It's overrated. Didn't really care for it. It's not bad. It's just
You look so good in uniform, though.
it wasn't a good fit, really.
It's the polyester.
I like the polyester. That's true. Yeah, my mother said I was very handsome, and
The bright colors.
yeah, I like that. Yeah. So, no, uniforms are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're basically lying to me again.
Yeah, kind of. I'm basically saying this thing is going to it's a turnkey, blah blah blah. It's perfect.
Don't have to worry about it.
Don't think
just
about
put it on cruise
Yeah,
control.
Cruise control, exactly. So here's some of the problems with it. Generally, the fees are insanely high. Like maybe 10 or 15 times what I pay at 0.3. A lot of these maybe over 1%, which is insane. That would be like 30 times higher. So that is bad. Also, the question is, what is the glide path? I used to fly gliders when I was in school, and you can come in, really steep, or you can come in smoothly. And all of these funds are different. They're run by different companies, and some of them will move a whole bunch.
It's not one size fits all.
It's not. Well, the thing is, it should be, but they all have their own approach. So what is the right answer? If you're all doing different things, at least most of you are wrong, probably. So, but there's no real set answer. It's just more of a general guideline of what we're trying to do. But yeah.
You got another one? Or are
I
we
do.
all done?
Let me finish this one.
Sorry.
Yeah. Actually, we'll do a whole show on. We'll come back to it later. But there's some
It
other.
seems a more dangerous concept.
It is, yeah. So we'll come back to it later. But again, not the worst thing ever, but pretty bad, I think. Okay, excuses. This kind of goes without saying, but if your guy or lady is underperforming the market, you could just say, "Well, here's basically what you can say is, well, I keep some of your stuff in safer stocks. So the market went up 10%. You only made 8%, but that's just because you have safer stocks. I put you in the big ones that are boring.
What?
Yeah.
No, like blue chips?
Yeah, blue chip. Well, blue chips aren't bad, but I put you in some bonds too, just because I was afraid that maybe things would go bad. Maybe we'd have an opportunity.
Didn't
if things
do that
would
without asking?
Yeah, well, they don't ask if a mutual fund is doing it, but if you are in a blue chip stock mutual fund, you should be performing about the same way that a blue chip mutual fund, blue chip index does. But if you're, doing the thing, if your mutual fund is doing whatever it claims to be doing, it should be keeping up with the Joneses in that sector. If it's not, then something's going wrong. Maybe the fees are too high. Maybe the person's just bad at what they do. So if it's a bond fund, you're going to be making 3 or 4%. That's okay if bonds are making 3 or 4%. Yeah. But if you're a aggressive stock fund and everyone's doing well, like they are right now, and you're underperforming the market significantly, then something's going on there. And it may just be incompetence. It may be that their fees are too high. Some of these companies that charge 1.5%, there's no way they can keep up. They will always underperform the market by 1.5% on average, eventually. So anyway, don't take excuses from anyone. And here's the other one, churning.
Excuse me?
Churning. That's
like butter?
Yeah, exactly. Up and down, in and out. Actually, in and out. Basically, they're buying and selling quickly. So here's the problem. It suggests, one, that they don't really know what they're doing. Warren Buffett, he says the ideal holding period for a stock is forever. You buy your Coca-Cola and you sit on it forever. That's what Warren Buffett says. Mm-hmm. If you got a guy who's buying and selling and buying and selling, well, one, there's trading fees there. Two, there's taxes. If you made a little money every time, you're paying taxes. You could be paying taxes 3 or 4 times in the same year on the same money.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. So if you have a mutual fund, you might get a bill at the end of the year for taxes, which is not uncommon. Some of these they might have 100% turnover rate over a year, meaning they sold everything and bought it again. Some have 200-300 times a percent.
Why would you want to do that?
Because they're trying to do well, but they're just bad at it. I had another company that, not a mutual fund, but an investment house, and they said, we want to hold some of your money and we will buy and sell for you. You have a personalized investment guy, but they were taking like 1% every time. And so we'd buy Apple and then go up 10 points, we'd sell it, and he'd get paid on the buy and the sell. And I'm like, well, the net, I actually lost money. You're doing terribly. That's called churning. So the only one who was the broker. Yeah. So anyway, churning, that's
no churning, no burning.
That's right. So anyway, those are 5 more red flags you want to look out for with a stock mutual fund. If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. So yeah, I don't know. Market averages are generally pretty good. So if you're making the averages, you're doing well. Maybe you can do better. But if someone promises you better, you got to ask them how.
Watch out for the liars.
There you go.
Stick with us. We'll be back in just a bit.
The Building Wealth in Your 20s podcast is a product of Baird Media. This podcast is meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. Nothing should be taken as advice for you specifically. For personalized advice, don't listen to these guys. Go talk to a professional.